We welcome you back to the Georgia Dome, where during pregame I spoke with Falcons offensive coordinator Dirk Koetter, and he said he was flipping through today's program, which features Roddy White. Said he was looking at the wide receiver's unbelievable career stats and said, you're not going to see that guy on the field today. What the Falcons will see is a player that went through a full week of practice, the very first time since missing 3 straight games with that hamstring and high right ankle sprain. He is at full speed. He can plant and he can cut. What they are worried about, though, is this conditioning. There won't be a play count for him, but Dirk Koetter telling me they simply just don't know what to expect from Roddy White today. Kevin?
Aaron, thanks. And that's a really good point about the conditioning. People say, well, wait a second, Johnny's an NFL athlete, but the hamstring, I guess it kind of limits what you can do, right?
Absolutely. It really limits the rehab process and particularly the conditioning part of that. He has not practiced all week since preseason. So it's great to have Roddy White back. It's just really interesting to see what Roddy White we're going to have.
Steven Hauschka will kick it off for Seattle, who won the toss and deferred. Jacquizz Rodgers will take it on out for Atlanta. And he's upended shy of the 15. Terrific coverage by Jermaine Kearse. He was down there, so was Heath Farwell. And the Falcons come on out with tough field position to start. And Matt Ryan coming off maybe the worst 2 games of his terrific young career.
Matt Ryan admitted as much. I've got to play differently. I don't have Julio out there. They're playing tighter. You see the offensive line. Lamar Holmes at left tackle. Jeremy Trueblood over at the right tackle.
Tony Gonzalez just keeps doing what he's doing. And this is the 3rd game back for Steven Jackson. Maybe you see him get going a little bit today. He had a decent game last week. Falcons are going to need him against a Seattle run D, which has really struggled uncharacteristically the last 2 weeks. And they give it to Jackson on first down, and Jackson has a gain of 2 against this Seahawks defense, which is difficult to navigate, despite the fact they've given up some rush yards the last 2 weeks. I mean, their front 7 is fast, they're active. Bennett in there today. Red Bryant out with a concussion on 1 defensive end, and the linebackers all can run. We know that.
And there it is, the Legion of Boom in the back end. These guys can fly out play. Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Brandon Browner, and Cam Chancellor. Impressive group, to say the least.
Jackson gets the first 2 carries of the game. He's up to the 20. How about the job by our graphics department with the Legion of Boom, where it usually says secondary? That's intense, guys. I like it. How about Atlanta here going 2 runs to start the game?
Well, and look at that Fox box, 3rd and 4. That's the big thing. That's what you want to do against the Seattle Seahawks. You get in 3rd and long, these guys can flat out rush the passer. This is a manageable 3rd down. Good job and good execution by the Falcons early.
Ryan looking towards Roddy White, goes to the side, and it's knocked away. Legion of Boom starting it out. Earl Thomas knocks it down, and the Falcons go 3 and out.
Yeah, that's what you say when you watch the Seattle Seahawks. Guess who? Earl Thomas. He is all over the field. There's the first boom of the day. You expect to see many. Earl Thomas, a special player at the free safety position, and he's taken that next step in his 4th year. And I really, in my heart of hearts, believe this guy is the defensive player of the year at this point in the season.
Bosher will punt it away. Golden Tate, who's had a couple big returns, including a 71-yarder last week for Seattle. Tate looking to make moves. And he's tough to bring down. Good hang time, 4.72 on the punt by Bosher, but Tate working hard to get it back to the 31. 59-yard punt, 10-yard return. And now Russell Wilson, who you really can't be much better than in a 1.5 years in the NFL.
You're right. He's on a record-setting pace since the merger with 19 wins in his first 2 years. And if you like statistics, he's not going to put up a lot of attempts, a lot of completions, a lot of yards. He's going to put up a lot of wins, though. That's what Russell Wilson does.
Seattle trailed Tampa Bay 21-0 last week for coming back to win that game. They've had a knack for that. They've been a slow starting team this entire year. Wilson will throw on first down to Lynch over the middle, and Marshawn Lynch will hit forward to the 35. It's a gain of 4 on first down. Paul Werlo, the rookie linebacker, made the stop. And the offensive line for Seattle is extremely banged up. Backups at left and right tackle and at center. hopefully getting those reinforcements for them back very, very soon.
Kevin, Pete Carroll told us it's a priority every week to get Marshawn Lynch going. That's what our team's all about. He epitomizes the toughness we want to represent. Look forward to them trying to get Marshawn going.
Here is Lynch on a second down and still on his feet. Gets it to the 39. Going to bring up a 3rd and 2. Well, John, it's interesting. In Seattle, their MO is running the ball. Okay, and then against the Rams a couple weeks ago, he had 8 carries for 23 yards. Doesn't make any sense. Last week, though, his best game. 21 carries, 125 yards.
Well, they made it a priority, and we asked Pete Carroll about that. He said it's a priority every single week. We screwed it up for St. Louis. It's nice, though, when you screw it up and you still get a win. Now, I think Marshawn and he had a little talk on that plane ride home. But he got a lot of carries last week.
Looking right into the visor of Lynch on a 3rd and 2. And they give it to him, and he battles forward close to a 1st down. I think he's got it. That looked like he was going to come up short initially, but he surged forward and reached out.
And Kevin, you just said it. It looks like he is going to get stopped short, but this is what Marshawn Lynch does. He drives those legs. He is so strong in the lower half. He's always falling forward. He's hit behind the line to gain, but drives forward for that 1st down.
Lynch gets a break. Robert Turbin in the backfield now on a 1st down. Wilson looks to hit the slant, knocked away nicely. Desmond Trufant, who's really come on in his rookie season. 1st-round draft pick out of Washington. For this Falcons defense, along the line, O.C. Umenyiora is their main sack guy. Corey Peterson banged up with a knee sprain. We'll watch his snaps today.
And you look at the linebackers, couple rookie, undrafted free agents at the outside linebackers in Joplo Bartu and Warlow. Warlow had 18 tackles last week. The back end, Kevin, you mentioned Trufant, Asante Samuel, Robert Alford, another rookie who plays a lot for the Seahawks, or excuse me, for the Falcons at corner.
Here's Turbin trying to get to the edge. Good stiff arm from Turbin as he adds a yard or 2. We've got our first game break of the day on a busy Sunday. Let's head to Joel Klatt.
Yeah, Kevin, busy Sunday in Chicago. Jay Cutler back on the field a couple of weeks after that growing injury against Washington. Finds Brandon Marshall, 32-yard touchdown catch, and the Bears have an early 7-0 lead over the Lions. Kevin, back to you.
We couldn't hear Joe Klatt, so I'll give it to you. Jay Cutler's back. He hit Brandon Marshall. Touchdown. Bears are up 7-0. 3rd and 4 for Seattle here on their opening drive. Blitz coming, and they hit Lynch. And Moore trying to hold him back, but Lynch powers forward. Look at Marshawn Lynch taking the whole team. Oh, man.
Well, Kevin, we talked to William Moore. We visited with him on Friday. We asked him, one-on-one with Marshawn Lynch, what are you going to do? He said, I'm not going to blink, and you got to hit through him. He tries to, but that stiff arm in your face, that makes it tough to hit through someone. And look at the leg drive. Look at that stiff arm, a wicked stiff arm from Marshawn Lynch. Hands in the face. He hears it from his teammates. That's what Pete Carroll talks about when he epitomizes the toughness of their football team.
It's a fake to Turbin, man. They got a wide open receiver. It's Wilson, the tight end. And Seattle's got something going as Wilson gets a good gain on the fake, 19 yards. But I want to go back to that play because it's funny. You talk about Moore as we look at the replay here. Just watch this as Wilson operates. What Moore also said is that they get momentum off of stiff arms.
Yeah, well, they just got some momentum right there.
Oh, my God.
And, you know, the old thing used to be, and it doesn't sound very pretty, but football's not very pretty. They try to stiff arm, break that arm. You let them know they aren't going to stiff arm them. Easy to say, hard to do.
8th play of the drive for the Seahawks in their opening possession. Look to set up a screen. Seattle. And the Falcons are all over it. Jonathan Babineau read it from the start, and it's a loss on the play of 5.
This Jonathan Babineau, you're going to see him right here in the interior at the nose. He's going to come out, see the screen develop, and then hustle down the sideline to sideline. Good tackle in open field on Turbin. That's a heck of a play by Jonathan Babineau. They need more of that of him. He's capable of that. He does it in flashes, needs to do it more consistently for the Atlanta Falcons.
Ninth play of the drive. Good opening possession for the Seahawks, but now 2nd and 15. Wilson on the run, hits Lynch, and trying to drive those legs forwards, but he stepped out of bounds. It's going to be a gain of 3, 3rd and long.
You know, we talked to William Moore, and one of the keys, we ask him every week to win this football game. What's the key? He said one key, tackling. We've already seen that hurt the Falcons. We'll see on this 3rd and 13, advantageous situation. Still going to have to tackle him.
Seahawks have Alvin Bailey in for James Carpenter on the left side. They're going to give on 3rd and long to Lynch up the gut. And he's going to get down to about the 21, well shy of a 1st down. What it will provide is a certainly makeable field goal try for Stephen Hauschka.
Really interesting, Kevin. The Seahawks already without 4 of their 5 starters on opening day, and then they're rotating left tackles during the course of the game. Alvin Bailey is a player they like, though, and they wanted an opportunity to get him in the football game, and they didn't hesitate early, alternating him with McQuiston at that left tackle position.
Stephen Hauschka, his only field goal miss was a block at Indianapolis. This is a 39-yard try. John Ryan, the punter, is the holder. Clint Gresham to snap it. And Hauschka right down the middle. And so Seattle on their opening possession takes it down the field. They hit on a 39-yard field goal. And they did it because Marshawn Lynch with the stiff arm. 3-0 Seahawks.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Good opening possession by the Seahawks. Marshawn Lynch gives you the wink because he was, yeah, I'll say it, in beast mode on that first drive with the stiff arm powering through Falcons. 11 plays, 48 yards, and the Hauschka field goal makes it 3-0.
I'll tell you what, he doesn't talk much. We ask for him in these production meetings. Even though he's my cousin, he won't join us, but he speaks loudly with his actions.
It's a gallant effort for you to try to get him to that meeting, John. I appreciate the effort. He spoke loudly on the field, though. So now the Falcons look to answer. Matt Ryan in the ATL on the field. We come back.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
We know this. The Falcons are a passing team. But, John, you feel like that's got to change today.
Well, it's part of the formula that the last 2 teams, St. Louis and Tampa, have proven to work against the Seattle Seahawks defense. 200 yards for Seattle, 205 for Tampa Bay. That's the formula. Keep them out of their pass rush mode.
Going to pass on 1st down. And Ryan over the middle has Roddy White. Welcome back, Roddy White over the middle to pick up a 1st down and a 20-yard gain.
Well, notice they've run the ball a couple times. Little drop back pass by Roddy White. The chemistry between those two, timing, anticipation. Matt Ryan threw that before Roddy White was out of the break. That's the kind of chemistry that they have. That's why Matt Ryan was so excited to have number 84 back and playing, and a healthy Roddy White back and playing.
They had a streak of 133 consecutive games until missing the last 3. Give it to Jackson, and Jackson met head-on by K.J. Wright. No gain on the play.
I promise you this, Pete Carroll, Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator in this group, they harped on doing your job all week. That's where they've gotten a little out of whack. They play a lot of 8-man fronts where it's imperative that everyone does their job. Everyone's accountable for a gap. When you get out of that gap, it gets sloppy, it gets messy. They preached that all week. They worked at it hard. There's a great example of it working well.
Jacquizz Rodgers in the game now, replacing Steven Jackson. Ryan looking for Rodgers, and he couldn't catch up to that one. Bruce Irvin was the guy that ended up being on the coverage, but if Rodgers got by him, he had a touchdown.
Jacquizz Rodgers, he played extremely well in that divisional playoff game against these guys, receiving the ball, catching the ball, but also running the football, as did Michael Turner, no longer with the team. They had great success, a season-high 167 yards. I think the Falcons know that that's the formula against the Seahawks team.
That's what they did in the divisional playoff last year. Atlanta's 42% on third down on the season. That's 8th in the league. Blitz coming. Ryan unloads and almost intercepted. Browner got his hands on it. And he couldn't corral it, but the Falcons will have to punt. K.J. Wright coming on in, delivering some pressure.
First of all, K.J. Wright, he's got Jacquizz Rodgers pass blocking, but he stays in. K.J. Wright goes and puts the pressure. That forces Matt Ryan to get rid of it. Brandon Browner, who's had a fantastic season, along with the rest of that secondary, knows he let one get away right there.
Brandon Browner talking with Rondé Barber on the great feature in the pregame, said, yeah, I've got to get a couple to catch up to Sherman and Thomas, who lead the league with 4. Had his chance. And Tate lets it bounce. He's mad for doing it because the Falcons will pin them deep. Golden Tate, who caught a punt at the 3-yard line last week and returned it 71 yards, is upset. He let that one bat. Now there's going to be some trash talking here. Yeah, it's already going on. Seahawks up 3 early.
Today's game is sponsored by the all-new 2014 Jeep Cherokee, built free. By Taco Bell, sometimes you gotta live Moss. And by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV.
Well, Veterans Day is tomorrow, and the NFL saluting to service as they're calling all the games this weekend, and we thank certainly all the military around the world who keep us safe every day. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for doing what you do. Seahawks football, second possession, 1st and 10. They're backed up inside their own 10. And that'll get them out to nearly the 10. Paul Worlow making the stop. 4 tackles already for Worlow in the early going.
Worlow, undrafted free agent, showing to have tremendous instincts. Now, he's not a finished product. There's still things when you turn on the tape that he's not familiar with, adjustments that he'll learn to make. But the one thing you can't teach is instinct. He's got a nose for the ball, in on 19 tackles last week against the Carolina Panthers.
Learning on the job, playing without Sean Weatherspoon, too, the real leader in that linebacking group, who could be back next week for Atlanta. Wilson going deep for Golden Tate. He's got it. Tate absorbs the hit for Moore. There's a flag, too. And Golden Tate wins the battle. He's out to the 40.
It looks as if they're going to get William Moore for a hit on a defenseless player. But Asante Samuel, Russell Wilson saw the one-on-one outside. He liked his matchup with Golden Tate. He went after it, and he got it.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Hit on a defenseless receiver, number 25, 15 yards from the end of the run, automatic first down.
It's the press coverage. Golden Tate does a tremendous job with his release. And I think good call by the officials. The way they're calling it right now, that's a good call.
Well, certainly the helmet-to-helmet contact. And that's been called every time. Marshawn Lynch back in the game. That's Baldwin in motion on a 1st and 10. Over the middle, got a completion. Baldwin makes his first reception of the day. He's down to the 35-yard line. Give him close to a 1st down. You know, penalties for this Falcon team under Mike Smith, they've been tremendous, John. I mean, last year they were number 1 in the league. This year it's not been the case. I mean, last year they were just over 3 penalties a game. This year, though, they're right in the middle of the pack with 6.5 penalties a game. You see the numbers. It's been an issue for this team. One of the reasons why they're 2-6. 2nd and half a yard, and Lynch has a 1st down.
Boy, it's fun to watch him run. I mean, William Moore said it. Look, it's going to take 11 hats to the football. And if you don't believe him, just watch. Because there's One missed tackle, two missed tackles. He's still driving those legs, still falling forward. Play's not over, folks. Still going, and finally down. You got to bring it when you come up against Marshawn Lynch, and you got to bring it with multiple people.
Robert Turbin in the game now. The give to the second-year man from Utah State. He's up to the 30 for Jonathan Babineau corrals him. Just a 2-yard gain. So the Seahawks mixing it up. They had a good opening drive, 11 plays for a field goal. Their 6th play of their second drive coming up.
Kevin, you talked about those penalties with the Atlanta Falcons. They weren't just good last year. I mean, they were historically good. The NFL record for least penalties in a 16-game season. They're basically on pace to double their penalties for the year. It's always been a hallmark of Mike Smith coach teams. They lead the league. They're up top, as we saw in that graphic. I think young players commit a lot of penalties, and that's been the case for the Atlanta Falcons.
About a second and 8, all kinds of time for Wilson. Still keeping it alive, and now it goes down. Wilson is dropped on the play by Joplo Bartu. We've got another game break. Checking in with Joel Klatt.
Kevin, we go to Green Bay. Nick Foles, 7 touchdown passes a week ago, and he's right back on that horse. Maybe a little underthrown, but Deshaun Jackson off the tip. He finds the end zone, his 7th TD of the season, 7-0 Eagles over the Pack. Kevin.
And life without Aaron Rodgers begins for Green Bay for at least the next few weeks. You get a timeout on the field, and Seattle calls their first of the first half. Russell Wilson has the Hawks moving. Now the Falcons defense trying to step up and make a stand. 3-0 Seattle in the first. Third down coming up for the Seahawks. 3rd and 16 as you look at the minds going against each other. Darrell Bevel, the offensive coordinator for Seattle. Mike Nolan, the defensive coordinator for Atlanta. 4-man rush pressure from Babineau. Wilson unloading deep for the end zone for Lockett, and it's knocked away. Robert Alford, the rookie, was there, had terrific coverage, and now Seattle will have to punt.
One thing that Robert Alford right there recognized is that with Russell Wilson, these plays are longer. It's called plastering. When he extends the play, you got to stay on your coverage longer than you're accustomed to, and the rookie does a heck of a job doing it and playing the football. This guy has a bright young future at the cornerback position, and they're set for years to come with Trufant and Robert Alford. They're both learning by fire right now, but playing at a good level already.
If you're wondering why not try a long field goal here, Hauschka is really consistent inside 50, but he's not a real long kicker. His long this year is 51, so that's why they elect to punt, and then a fair catch for Atlanta, and they will start deep in their own territory by McClain. So the Falcons D does their job. Matt Ryan and the offense, their turn next. 3-0 Seattle leading Atlanta as we play the final 147 of the first quarter. Falcons have it deep in their own territory now. 1st and 10 of their own 10. Here's Steven Jackson, and Jackson just looking for someone to run, but there's just nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. KJ Wright was there first. Michael Brooks, who was just brought up from the practice squad, was in it well. Well, we told you about the Legion of Boom, this Seattle secondary, and, well, they're physical.
And those two went at it in the divisional playoff game. Roddy White, Richard Sherman, healthy respect, but then a little fun. There's Harry Douglas. And a good respect amongst these players, but sometimes respect gets a little chippy. These guys both want to win badly. Seattle wants to avenge that loss in the divisional playoffs.
Flag flies on the play. A little high for Gonzalez. It's incomplete. And the initial signal, Seattle may have jumped.
Offside. Defense number 51. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Matt Ryan, like most of these great quarterbacks, very adept at the hard count right there. He takes advantage of Bruce Irvin's aggressiveness. Draws him off sides, puts him in a nice 2nd and 5 situation.
Well, we told you about Atlanta's penalties earlier. Seattle averages about 8 penalties a game. That's 30th in the league. And I guess when you're aggressive like that, some of that's going to come as Falcons trying desperately to get the run game going. But it's hard sledding right now for Steven Jackson and company. Just a gain of 2.
It is hard sledding, but again, I think it's you got to continue to do it. You got to stay patient. You've got to stay disciplined. That is the formula. You can run on this team in Seattle, and you have to stay out of the 3rd and longs. Here we are in a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. This is doable for Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons.
Tony Gonzalez, top of your screen. It's almost like Seattle's forgetting about him for a second. Ryan not looking that way. He's looking over the middle of Steven Jackson, who makes the catch, I think, a little shy of the first down. He's going to be a hair shy on this 3rd down completion. I don't think he got it. And looks like the initial spot says no. KJ Wright on the tackle. Falcons going to have to punt.
KJ Wright having one heck of a football game early, driving on that football and tackling. We talked about it. Epidemic of bad tackling going on in this football league right now. Seattle's tackling well here today.
Yeah, they are. Their defense playing well. We've reached the end of the first quarter. Seahawks 3, Falcons nothing. As we salute our servicemen and women around the country. Military appreciation around the NFL today. Start of the second quarter from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Seahawks up 3-0 on the Falcons. Falcons going 3 and out again. So they've gone 3 and out, 4 and out, and 3 and out here. And they'll punt away. That one nearly blocked, but Bosher gets off a beauty. And Tate takes it at the 28. Up the middle out to the 41, 13-yard return by Golden Tate. Well, in case you missed it, tune in to Fox Sports Live for more from our exclusive interview with Richie Incognito. It was a good one, that's for sure. Jay Glazer did it. What does he have to say about former teammate Jonathan Martin? That plus Jay and Dan with all the highlights and scores tonight on Fox Sports Live. To find Fox Sports 1 on your provider, go to foxsports1.com right now. Seattle football, their own 41, as Marshawn Lynch on the field again. And now, John, you talked about Atlanta to stay in this game, having a chance to. They got to try and run the ball, and it's not been effective to this point, but they're trying. And despite the game feeling a little lopsided, it's only 3-0 Seattle. Here's Marshawn Lynch, good look and run, and Lynch is going to get out to the 48-yard line on that first down. Gain of 7. Kurt Menefee has our latest game break.
Well, after the Bears scored on the opening drive, the Lions answered right back. Matthew Stafford's Chris Durham 5-yard score ties the game at 7. These are 2 of the 3 teams tied atop the NFC North. Kevin, John, and Aaron.
All right, Kurt, thanks. The other team, of course, the Packers, playing without Aaron Rodgers. They're trailing Philly 7-0 right now in the first quarter. Play fake to Lynch. And Wilson, his receiver, fell down. He was looking for Doug Baldwin, but he slipped and fell on the play. So a 3rd and short is coming up. So here are these Falcons, John, and, 2-6. They're looking for something. They've been in all these games, and the formula trying to run, but nothing so far. At least the results haven't been there.
Well, they aren't converting on 3rd down. They're getting in great 3rd down situations. 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. You got to convert. But what they're doing is doing a great job of getting off the field on 3rd down against Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. Here's another 3rd down situation right here.
Seattle's had a couple of long drives, only the field goal to show for it. And a 3rd and 3. Wilson lofts it up for Kearse. What an adjustment! Great grab by Jermaine Kearse. Desmond Trufant was all over him, but Kearse makes the grab to move the chains for Seattle.
Watch Kearse right there. He's kind of become the Sidney Rice. He's that kind of body type. Sidney Rice hurt. This is the guy that Russell likes in one-on-one situation. There's a trust factor. If he throws it up, the ball will not be intercepted. It will either be a reception like that, or at least, at worst, an incompletion. Great job by Kearse bringing that ball in amidst a lot of traffic.
A gain of 23 as the Seahawks keep this drive going. 1st and 10 at the 29. Here's Lynch. Good cuts. Inside the 25 is Lynch. And the Falcons will knock them backwards if they're getting down to about the 23. Kearse is a local kid doing well. In his 2nd year out of Washington, he was a captain at Washington, John, and he went to Lakes High School in Lakewood, Washington. That's about 45 minutes from downtown Seattle. So Must be pretty cool for him to do what he's doing.
Yeah, and there's an eye doctor out there in the Seattle area that Pete Carroll should send a thank you note. He had LASIK surgery this offseason, and Pete Carroll said those type of catches in traffic, it's made a world of difference for Curse.
Extra tight end in. That was Kellen Davis, number 87, in motion. Here to help block for Lynch, but Stockton's blowing up the line, and Lynch is going to have a loss. OCU Manura led the charge, and Lynch loses yardage.
See OCU Manura, they talk about setting an edge. Sometimes you don't have to contain it. He takes up 2 blockers, continues to string out Marshawn Lynch. Here comes the rest of the posse with great hustle. That's good, solid, fundamental football by OCU Manura.
Great shots by our guys, too. 3rd and 6. Seattle 3 of 5 on 3rd down. They were 8 of 12 on 3rd against Tampa Bay last week. Pressure coming. Manura nearly got there. Wilson. Did he make the catch? Yes! Oh, my goodness. Golden Tate. 2 electric catches on the drive. And here comes a 1st and goal.
You see Golden Tate's foot. Left foot down. Right foot out. No way. Not even close. And Russell Wilson trying to get up to the line. But Mike Smith already has the red flag down.
Well, that one's going to get overturned, but who cares? What a catch. I mean, what an effort. What a concentration level by Golden Tate.
Tell you one thing that's quite evident already, Kevin, is that in these one-on-one situations, Russell Wilson is trusting his receivers, and they're earning the trust because they're winning the one-on-ones right now.
Is that something that you see that's...
Atlanta is challenging the ruling of the field of a completed catch.
I was going to say, is that something you see a little different from Wilson? But we'll get to that when we come back. They review the play. We'll take a break, come back with the results after this.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by USAA. To everyone who has served this Veterans Day, USAA salutes you. By Citizen Echo Drive, fueled by light, it never needs a battery. And by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time.
Play being challenged. Bill Vinovich is our referee this afternoon. That's going to get overturned despite the wonderful effort by Tate.
After reviewing the play, the call on the field is reversed. It's an incomplete pass. It'll be 4th down and 6. The 25-yard line. Atlanta is not charged with a timeout. No adjustment to the clock as the receiver was out of bounds.
Well, that'll set up now a 43-yard field goal try instead from Stephen Hauschka, but obviously a good call by Vinovich and his crew.
We didn't even need Mike Pereira for that one.
No,
pretty obvious.
Mike can relax till later, maybe. And they go and do it right. So Mike Smith uses his first challenge, but again, because he got it right, he gets the next one right. If he uses it, he'll have another one. So Smith challenging and winning. Hauschka hit his only field goal attempt earlier today, a 39-yarder going the other way, but in a dome, so no win. 43-yarder this time for Hauschka, and it's hooking, but he slings it through, and the Seahawks have a 6-0 lead. Golden Tate, so close, but Seattle settles for a field goal. Falcons have to get the offense going. The defense is doing a nice job keeping them, the Seahawks at bay early, but you see the offense has just not gotten anything moving. They're trying to run the ball, John, but no results just yet for Steven Jackson and company. And Hauschka will kick it off after his second field goal. This time Rodgers has no shot to return it, and the Falcons will take over on their own 20-yard line. Well, here is the run defense for the Seahawks throughout the season. Normally reliable, but the stock market went up and down a little bit recently.
Little volatility in Seattle in terms of the run defense. Really good right about here. Week 7, 30 yards, 200 yards against the St. Louis Rams, 205. And what is it? It's lack of discipline in your run fits. Now, don't get all scared and out of whack, because they still are overall the 3rd-ranked scoring defense, the number 2 overall defense coming into today. But it's something they better fix, or they're going to get exposed as they go further down this season.
Falcons changed it up. They put Jason Snelling in the backfield for the first time today. Versatile back and run, catch, and block. And Ryan's going to get it to Snelling over the middle. And Snelling's got a first down. So immediate dividends on the first play from Jason Snelling, and a gain of 15.
You know, Kevin, every time I do an Atlanta Falcons game, I say, why don't they play Snelling more? Because every time he gets the football, good things seem to happen. And he's a reliable special teams player. I get it. But when he's in there, positive things happen. Give him the ball more.
Now, Steven Jackson, you would think by missing a play, he'd be ready to go in. Looks like a spectator right now. Snelling getting at least these couple plays. Fake it to him here. Pressure for Ryan. Get it to Snelling again. And try to lay the spin move down, but it didn't work that time. Bruce Irvin on the tackle after a 4-yard gain.
We talked about those 7 interceptions in the last 2 weeks. Talking to Tony Gonzalez down there. Not only Matt Ryan feels the effect of not having Julio Jones and Roddy White. See Brandon Browner going to the sideline.
Oh, boy.
But Tony was saying, John, it's incredible how I've received more and more attention as these guys are out. Tony Gonzalez's production has gone down with these guys out as well.
That's Walter Thurman. He's Seattle's nickel back, but with Browner limping off there, he now vaults into the top 2. Keep certainly an eye on that. Browner said an outstanding year. Thurman in for him on a 2nd and 6. Good run. Rodgers across midfield, head down, and he's finally slowed down at the Seattle 45. 17-yard run by Jacquizz Rodgers. It was Sherman on the tackle.
And this is what happens with an 8-man front. They're loading the box, trying to stop the run. But when you're out of your gap responsibility, you get to that second level. Now you look at that. Look at that box. Everybody up for the Seattle Seahawks. They bring DeMarco back around. Someone not on point. Malcolm Smith, 53, doesn't come with the fullback. Jacquizz Rodgers exposes the open gap.
Now Seattle has 41. Byron Maxwell in the game at cornerback, top of your screen. Ryan going to set it up for Rodgers. Makes a nice catch, but just had nowhere to go, and he's going to lose 4.5 yards on the play. Thurman came in to make the hit. Interesting you're talking about that 8-man front and guys, you know, the discipline, because Earl Thomas told us when you're in that situation, we're all tight on a string, and if one person messes up, the string breaks.
That's right. And when the string breaks, it's a long run. And they're fortunate they have Earl Thomas back there cleaning it up, or they'd have rushed for 600 yards in the last 2 weeks.
Now Jackson back in the game, breaks the tackle, and Steven Jackson surges forward to the 44. Aaron Andrews, what's going on with Steven Jackson?
Yeah, I was just asking Falcons PR if there was anything new with Steven Jackson. You mentioned he's back on the field, and they said no, they're just trying to get anything going that they can, rotate guys in and out, see if anything works here.
All right, so that's good. So clearly it's not a hamstring issue popping up again. They're just trying to get Snelling and get a little spark, which they've gotten. But now a 3rd and long. Seattle coming with a delayed blitz. Ryan's going to run it. Matt Ryan showing you the legs. And a 1st down for Atlanta.
Now watch this. You're going to have everybody in man-to-man coverage. Watch all these corners, man-to-man coverage. What's that do? It opens that middle of the field. Matt Ryan recognizes it. Not the most fleet of foot. He sees open grass. Go take it. A great decision by Matt Ryan, moving the chains for the Atlanta Falcons.
The Falcons have their best drive of the day. 7th play of this possession. Ryan's got a good pocket this time. Firing high. A lot of time to throw. Tried to hit Gonzalez. 2nd time he's been high to his tight end.
And that's a throw that Matt Ryan, who clearly has been off the last couple of weeks, typically makes. That's one of his hallmarks, his accuracy. He usually throws it to specific numbers. He's so darn accurate. Been a little off the last couple of weeks, and it's concerning to the Atlanta Falcons.
Ryan, last 2 games, 7 interceptions, the worst stretch in his career. And he admitted to us that, yeah, he's probably trying to press and force it in a little bit for the injuries they've had. Steven Jackson looking for room, not much. So, John, is that the thing with these 8-man fronts that they play, that you're just going to have to deal with a lot of the 2-yard runs and wait for the 20-yarders to show themselves?
Well, I played in that defense for years in Tampa, and everybody talks about the Tampa 2. 50% of the time we were in 8-man fronts, and that's what it is. It's 2 yards, it's 2 yards, it's minus 2 yards, but then it's 15. Provided they aren't on their P's and Q's, and Seattle has been out of whack of late. We saw it just expose itself there, so that's why Atlanta's got to continue to, as they say, pound that rock and see what they can find.
Harry Douglas in motion. It's a 3rd and 9. Got to get it. Douglas coming in. Look at the play. Walter Thurman blew it up and does the Pee-wee shuffle to boot.
The Seattle team, Kevin, you used the word already, aggressive. Watch Walter Thurman right there. You try to get this quick screen, he's not having any of it. Before all the blockers can come, makes an aggressive attack on Harry Douglas, goes and gets him before Lamar Holmes. That is good football. Trust your instincts, go get it, go make a play.
It's a 53-yard field goal attempt for Matt Bryant. As long as 52 this year. He was hitting him from 56 in the pregame. Snap and hold are fine. Distance fine. Right down the middle for Matt Bryant. Boy, he's a good kicker. I mean, that was perfect for Matt Bryant. It gets the Falcons on the board after the best drive of the day. And with 6:30 to go in this first half, Falcons on the board. Boy, this is some hard hitting. Got some bloody Falcons. Seahawks happy they've got the 3-point edge in the first half.
This game is sponsored by Ford. Only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more.
Some weird games. Well, the Falcons offense woke up on that last drive. 10 plays, 45 yards. Matt Bryant, 53-yard field goal. It's a 6-3 game here in Atlanta with the Seahawks in front. And now Bosher will kick it off. And Jermaine Kearse will take an East. Seattle starts on their own 20. We've got a very important injury report. Aaron Andrews has more.
Kevin, thanks so much. Seattle secondary taking a big hit. Brandon Browner, cornerback, out of the game with a right groin injury. Obviously, his backup will be Walter Thurman, who just made a big play out there on Harry Douglas.
Well, that is an issue. Here's the play, and you see right there, it kind of went, and Browner. Hey, that's it. Listen, the Legion of Boom, the one thing about them, John, yeah, they've got great players, but they do work really well together. So how does that affect the whole machine with him out?
Well, the style of play, they're up in people's faces. That's not easy to do. But I will say John Schneider, as he's done with every position, has stockpiled this team. Maxwell, Thurman, Jeremy Lane, all big corners that can play that style of football.
Marshawn Lynch, good hole. Marshawn Lynch cuts it back. Lynch into Falcon territory. He's down to the 43-yard line. Marshawn Lynch erupting for a 37-yard game, but he had some great blocking too.
We'll watch him get right behind his buddy Michael Robinson. He's happy to have him back. Michael Bowie, the right tackle, engulfs Bartu, and it's nothing but daylight for Marshawn Lynch. And Thomas Deku does a fine job of just corralling him such that it's not a touchdown. That's too easy for Marshawn Lynch. Too much space. Atlanta got to play better run defense than that.
64 yards already for Lynch. Give it to him again. They're going to sling it back. Look at this gadget play. Wilson going deep for Kearse. He's got it. Touchdown, Seattle.
Is that saying of a local boy done good?
Oh,
well, he's doing really good. And Sidney Rice went down, and a lot of people in Seattle were fretting because he was their deep target. He was their guy down the field. Well, enter Jermaine Kearse. He showed it in preseason. The Seahawks knew he had the talent. Now he's starting to demonstrate it when he's gotten his opportunity, and boy, is he doing it today. Marshawn Lynch kind of pushes it, shot puts it back to Russell Wilson, and there's no push right there. He unloads that football. And again, that's the trust on these one-on-one situations. Is he covered? Yes. Russell Wilson says, my guy's better than yours.
That's the 4th touchdown of the year for Jermaine Kearse. A 43-yarder that ties his career long. He is really stepping up with Sidney Rice out for the year. And Lakes High School back in Seattle fired up. What a play. Backyard football. Seahawks by 10. In honor of Veterans Day, for every point scored during the NFL's 32 Salute to Service games, the league will donate $100 to each of its nonprofit partners, the Pat Tillman Foundation, USO, and the Wounded Warrior Project. To join the salute and learn more, visit NFL.com/salute.
Couldn't go to a better cause, Kevin. I saw Pete Carroll down there before the game, players from the Seahawks, Falcons thanking the troops, and that's just, it's awesome, and I'm proud of the NFL for doing it.
Marshawn Lynch proud of his shovel-looking pass, but it got the job done on that flea flicker, and Seattle scores a beautiful touchdown to take a 10-point lead. Well, if you've ever played poker, here's what a poker face looks like, because Darrell Bevel has 4 aces right now. This was before that trick play.
That's the poker face. Don't get excited, Russell. We're coming with it. We're coming with it. But watch Kearse right here. Watch him come. He's going to kind of hide, act like he's run blocking, and he is gone. Right now, the race is on. Good coverage by Thomas Deku. He does a great job recovering. But again, it's just the trust that Russell Wilson has in Kearse. And Jermaine, you keep on making plays like that, you'll keep getting more opportunities. Sidney Rice gone. Jermaine Kearse steps in. This Seattle roster is absolutely loaded with talent.
And again, Kearse with 4 touchdowns receiving-wise. That's tops on Seattle. Now Atlanta's a bad field position all day long. Coming off their best drive, they get Jackson involved. Breaks one tackle, not the next. And Jackson's going to get out near the 25-yard line before Bobby Wagner stopped him in his tracks.
And if you're the Atlanta offense and Matt Ryan, stick to the game plan. You got to score touchdowns, though. Russell Wilson, this offense, they're too good. They're going to score points. You've got to move the football. Then you've got to pay it off with touchdowns, not field goals.
Seahawks with 202 total yards already. That's got to be encouraging for a team that has started slowly, especially the last couple weeks. On second down, Ryan hitting Douglas, who stays on his feet, shoved backwards. See where his momentum got him. I think he's going to be a little shy of a first. And it looks like it'll be a 3rd and very short. That's Walter Thurman, who came in for the injured Brandon Browner. These Seahawks don't miss many tackles, do they?
They're a very good tackling team. And Pete was concerned because he said the last couple of weeks we looked like everybody else in this league. Bad tacklers, but we went back to the basics this week, and it's showing. They're tackling extremely well, which is a characteristic of this Seattle Seahawks defense.
Hey, keep the lanes, express.
On the Ryan Express on 3rd and 1, over the middle, and couldn't make the grab. Throw a little low for Douglas. And that type of play has been the story of Atlanta's season. Wide open receiver, they can't connect, and they've got a punt.
Game of inches. Matt Ryan kind of just lays it out there. Like an outfielder, they tell you don't extend the arms, run, then extend the arms. That slows him down, and Matt Ryan extremely frustrated. Kevin, you said it. That's been kind of like this season. Close, but no cigar.
Instead of hitting there and going for 50 yards on a 3rd and 1, now you punt it away and give Seattle the ball with 4:01 to go in the half.
Don't forget who's back here receiving this punt. Golden Tate, who's a threat every time he's back there.
Tate's had a 10-yard return and a 13-yard return. This time, though, he's going to call a fair catch, and Seattle will take over on their own 25-yard line. Russell Wilson, the Seahawks offense is together. They're clicking, and they've got a 10-point lead.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, we'll get you caught up on 8 early games in the NFL. As the first-place Bengals look to extend their lead in the AFC North, the Giants go for their 3rd straight win, and E.J. Manuel makes his return for the Bills against Pittsburgh. It's all on the Visa Halftime.
There are some crazy games, Kurt. The Rams are beating the Colts 28-0. What? The Jaguars are beating the Titans 13-0, and this, I don't know what Seattle will be upset about right now. They're playing well. They're up on the scoreboard, but there's some anger. Cliff Averill is not happy about something. Well, anyway, Seahawks football, 13-3, they lead it. Robert Turbin in the game. They're going to throw it instead, get it to Golden Tate. Good blocking, Golden Tate. Tate turns on the Jets, and he's inside the 30. Luke Wilson had a great block to spring Tate for an enormous gain.
Well, Golden Tate, I got it right on my board. Playmaker. That's what he is. Get the ball in his hands. Watch the tight end. Zach Miller, Luke Wilson out in front. Watch these guys right there. Create the little alley, and boom, he's off to the races. The speed of Golden Tate shows itself. This guy's becoming one of the better wide receivers in the National Football League, consistently making plays. The leading receiver for the Seattle Seahawks.
That's 46 yards to Tate. The Seahawks now have 5 plays over 20 yards in this first half. Lynch, running room, narrow there. Babineau came in to make the tackle. So, I mean, you got 46 yards on that play, and then the play before on the touchdown, Curtis was 43 yards. I mean, they're getting big chunks here against this Falcon D.
They are. But again, it's all comes back to the run game. That starts everything with these guys. And the reason we see all these one-on-one situations is because they run the ball so well. Everybody says, we got to stop Marshawn Lynch. Well, that leaves Golden Tate. It leaves Curse outside in one-on-one situations. They take advantage of it.
I showed you Sean Weatherspoon there. He's still out. Big part of this Falcons D. Lynch breaks 1 tackle, 2 tackles, not the 3rd and 4th. And a short gain as we may hit to the 2-minute warning here. Just a 1-yard gain for Lynch. Seattle has 251 yards of offense. And considering they're doing it behind an offensive line that's without 3 starters, that is ultra impressive. It's been Seattle's first half. Earl Thomas and company strutting their stuff with a 10-point lead. Third and 7 for Seattle behind an offensive line that is banged up. They are really doing the job today. 251 total yards in this first half.
Kevin, not just guys out. You're talking about 2 All-Pros, Max Unger and Russell Okung, and your starting right tackle in addition to those guys.
Needs 7 yards. Pressure coming. Wilson intercepted. No. Thought that one was going to get picked, but it slipped by Trufant. Never one to fall harmlessly to the ground. And now Seattle will have a field goal attempt. Good pressure by Atlanta.
But Stanley Mapunga, he's going to come off unblocked. More guys than they can block. Bowie slow out of his stance. Trufant's got to go get that ball. You got to attack that football. Turnovers, so critical. Trufant, heck of a young player. Got to finish the play.
This is Hauschka from 44 yards out. He's 2 of 2 today. Snap in the hole, they're good. And Hauschka is good again. So a 44-yarder, and the Seahawks extend their lead to 16-13. 1:52 to go in this first half. Well, in 1 week, the next evolution of cop drama is here. Don't miss the groundbreaking show critics raving about. Almost Human. The 2-night premiere starts 1 week from tonight on Fox. Been begging for one of those cars every week and still don't have one. And I don't have that hair, thankfully.
Kevin, you know, this league is all about matchups, and it's about making plays. It's about playmakers, and the thing that's really shown itself right away in those matchups, Seahawks are winning them every time. Another opportunity right there for Desmond Trufant. Makes a really good break on the football. That's a good play. A great play is turning it over, saving the 3 points. And that's just kind of what Atlanta's been. Not good enough this year. Seattle, this is a championship level team. Talent throughout the roster. They preach competition. They preach protecting the football, taking it away. They get all those things done. A bunch of playmakers all over the Seattle roster.
And it's interesting because the last 2 weeks with the run D, with the faults, I mean, they had a goal line stand against the Rams to win. They had, you know, obviously to overcome a 21-0 lead to Tampa, winless Tampa Bay last week. And people, what's wrong with the Seahawks? They're 8-1. Not too much is wrong with them right now. Maybe they're not going to play perfect every day. But I think people were panicking, and They're 8-1, John. They're winning games.
Yeah, you never apologize for a win in the National Football League. I played 15 years, and that's one thing I learned. You don't apologize. Now, what you have to do, like their run defense, you got to fix what's ailing you such that when you start playing those better teams, that you're prepared in every aspect. And Pete Carroll and his staff do a fine job of that. They had a little lull in their run defense. They fixed it today, and they're playing great football.
Golden Tate told us yesterday, you don't have to be the best team in the league. You just have to be better than the team you're playing. Apropos, that day, that is. 152 to work with for Matt Ryan. Falcons looking for something, down 16-3. Pressure coming, dumps it off in time to Rodgers. And Rodgers gets to the 30. He should move the chains for Atlanta.
Atlanta going to go a little up-tempo. Be really big if they could get points on the board prior to half. Touchdown would be preferable.
Well, they've got all 3 timeouts, so plenty of time. Ryan, pressure from Averill, gets it away, incomplete. Good pressure from the edge from Cliff Averill.
Cliff Averill is a guy that John Schneider, and I talked to him, the general manager said before the game, look, we had no intentions of going and getting 2 defensive ends. But Cliff Averill was out there. The price came down. Michael Bennett's out there. These guys are leading the Seattle Seahawks in sacks. Michael Bennett, Cliff Averill. And it's because of the way they've drafted. Russell Wilson making $600,000, lowest paid starting quarterback because they drafted him, that they had the ability to go out and pay those guys. And boy, what a formula they have in Seattle.
2nd and 10, 4-man rush. Ryan going to run it for the 2nd time today. He's out across the 35-yard line, but see if the Falcons call their first time out here. I would think they would. And they do. So they've got 2 timeouts left, but they've obviously got to pick up this first down.
Kevin, what has happened since Julio Jones, Roddy White been out is the demeanor of the opposing team. They've constricted everything. They aren't backing up anymore as a defense. They're sitting tight. They're squatting on routes. That's why all the picks have come. They got to take a shot downfield. In addition to running the football, staying balanced, you got to take some shots. You got to back defenses up. Otherwise, it's tough for any quarterback.
Now some whistles on the field. Cam Chancellor setting the defense for Seattle on a 3rd and 4 for the Falcons. Just 1 of 6 on 3rd down today. It's a pretty big 3rd down though, because Seattle's got 2 timeouts on their own right, already up 16-3. At the very least, even if Atlanta doesn't score, they got to keep the ball here. 3rd and 4. Ryan lofting it up, incomplete. Chancellor was there. And again, having trouble hooking up with Tony Gonzalez.
Well, we talk about these mismatches that tight ends like Tony Gonzalez present every week. He still has an advantage on Cam Chancellor, but not so much. Cam Chancellor stands 6 feet 3 inches. They list him as 6'3". I've been around him. He seems 6'4" to me, 230 pounds. He's closer to being that same physical type of matchup than most safeties. An outstanding asset for this Seattle defense.
Bosher will punt. He's had a good game punting. This one to Tate inside the 10. The 71-yard return last week. And Bosher makes a nice play. That could have gone even farther, but Matt Bosher, the punter. Here's the problem, 1:03 to go. Seattle's got 2 timeouts here, already up 13.
Here's another problem. Matt Bosher's been doing that a lot this year. Special teams breaking down. And Matt Bosher, that's a touchdown if Matt Bosher doesn't show himself right there and get him out of bounds.
32-yard return for Golden Tate.
Not perfect technique, but for a punter, I'll give him a 10.
So Golden Tate's had punt returns of 10, 13, and 32 today. Two timeouts for Seattle, 1:03 to go first half. They're up 16-3. Baldwin. And Baldwin decides to stay in bounds. I believe. Did he get out? I don't think he got out, no. And so they'll reset the ball, and then clock will move here. I guess they said he got out of bounds. I didn't see it. But But now Wilson on a 2nd and 6. Far side, looking for Baldwin again. He's got the catch right at midfield. With 48 seconds ago, not calling a timeout.
Look, this is a team that has come back from at least 17 points or more down, so they're used to these 2-minute types of situations. Russell Wilson says one play at a time. That's what he tells these guys, one play at a time. They're doing a fine job of it once again on this drive.
You know, John, this looks eerily similar. I know the situation's totally different, but watching the playoff game, the divisional game last year, when Seattle was down 6 on that drive to put them ahead, they had 3 timeouts in their pocket, and time was winding down. And watching the game, you're thinking, what are they doing? Russell Wilson just calmly motored them down the field and scored the touchdown.
He's very masterful in slowing down the game and understanding you have time. Continue to move the chains, and good things will happen. He scores points in bunches.
Lot of time. Wilson over the middle. He's got an open man. It's Baldwin inside the 15. He's taken down there. Thomas Deku was there, but not after a big gain, 30 yards, and big plays everywhere for Seattle today.
Well, this is Doug Baldwin, another guy, a Stanford guy, getting his opportunity. Finds the seam in the zone, and you talk about a dart. Russell Wilson. That's the fastball. He's an old baseball player. That's the 95-mile-an-hour fastball right there. And anyone who says Russell Wilson doesn't have a strong arm, nuh-uh. That is well done. And that makes his head coach, Pete Carroll, he likes that number 3 at quarterback.
Russell Wilson is perfect this drive. He's 14 and 19 for 231 yards in the first half.
And if you're Atlanta, you got to get some heat up front. We talked about this offensive line. They've been good run blocking. Their weakness has been pass blocking, and there's no heat right now from this Atlanta front.
Still 1 timeout left for Seattle, so they can do whatever they want here. 23 seconds left, but that's not going to help. Curse jumped.
False start. Offense, number 15. 5-yard penalty. Still first down. There's no 10-second run offense. The clock was not running.
Good explanation by Bill Vinovich. Pete Carroll said yesterday about, Russell Wilson. He never shows anything, but everything is okay. He said he showed it last week when we were down 21.
And you can't replace that. When you have a guy, John Elway, Joe Montana, everybody on the team, not just the offense, everybody on the team thinks you're in every game. You believe it's going to get done, and it makes everybody else better. That's what the great ones do.
Firing over the middle, too high, looking for Curse there. And it'll bring up a 2nd down. Again, 20 seconds left. They do have a timeout. They can actually get a first down, but I don't know if that's in play right now. They get a first down at the 1.
Talk about young players for this Atlanta team, and this is unfortunately turned into being a rebuilding type of year. Not what they wanted, but Warlow, he was just guarding Curse, a wide receiver in the slot. They may have found a gem in this undrafted free agent out of Delaware.
2nd and 15, time winding down. Wilson in trouble, Conley escapes. And Wilson goes down hard. Clock running, so they're going to have to use their final timeout. Seattle will call their final timeout with 8 seconds left. And they will mark Wilson. Let's see where they officially put him. Bottom line is, John, if they choose, they can run a play here. No timeouts.
There's that dual threat that Russell Wilson provides. I mean, this is a guy who came into the game with 375 yards rushing as a quarterback. More than any running back on the Atlanta Falcons roster. And he throws the ball pretty well. He's the total package as Russell Wilson. And everybody in Seattle knows it.
8 seconds in the half. It's been all Seahawks up 16-3, but no timeouts here. And last week when they were down 21-0, the offense was sputtering despite a good first drive. This week they've gone off. So they'll run one play here on a 3rd down.
You got 5-5.
And they've got to throw it. No timeouts left. They can't do anything but throw to the end zone here. Atlanta coming with everybody. Wilson just going to throw a fade to Tate. One-handed stab. Touchdown!
Wow. Remember, all scoring plays reviewed, but look at that concentration. 1 foot down, 2 feet down. I believe that's a catch, and what a magnificent catch it is. Look at the concentration. Left hand. Control right now. Left foot down, drags the right foot. I believe that stands, controls it all the way through the process of the catch. That is one heck of a football play by Golden Tate.
That is incredible.
He palmed it against his face mask with that left hand. Control. It's whether that right foot is still dragging when he gains control. I think it's a touchdown. I think it will be hard to overturn that. Remember, called touchdown on the field.
I mean, it's pretty hard to palm a football, but that's exactly what he just did.
What a great shot. That's just, you talk about playmakers. This roster is littered with playmakers, and Russell Wilson, the best one of them all, does such a great job distributing the football, finding the open matchup. Boy, they can beat you in a lot of ways. This is a championship level team and a team to be reckoned with.
That was just awesome. I mean, remember earlier he had the crazy catch that was out of bounds at about the 2. I agree with you. I think this is going to stand. I mean, I think it's going to be hard to overturn. And by the way, could you get a better thrown ball by Russell Wilson with heat coming at him?
Well, they talk about throwing to that back pylon, and that's exactly what Russell Wilson does. Here comes the pressure. Throw it to that back pylon in a position where only your guy can get it. You can't throw it any better. And if that stands, as I believe it will, that's one of the catches of the year.
You know, Russell Wilson comes out about 3 hours before the game starts and throws 30 passes around the stadium all over the place. And he said, I envision touchdowns. Think he had that vision earlier?
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
6 yards to Golden Tate on the score, his 4th touchdown of the year. I mean, can you execute a drive to end the half or game better than that?
Flawless.
Hauska, extra point up and good, and it's a dominant first half for the Seattle Seahawks, who are up 20 on the Falcons with 1 second to go in the half. Want to know the story of this game? All you got to do is look at the faces of your starting quarterbacks. Russell Wilson saying, thank you, but it was all on him on that throw. And Matt Ryan, frustration boiling over of a 2-6 start and a 20-point deficit here today.
Kevin, and we talked about it in the open. What different directions these two teams have taken. Just completely divergent routes. The Atlanta Falcons prevail in that divisional game. Darn near go to the Super Bowl. They come out injuries at key positions. Struggle anyway with things that they haven't struggled with. Seattle used it as motivation. Went out, got better, more talent on this already talented roster. Russell Wilson in his 2nd year, better. Guys like Golden Tate, better. And boy, what different routes these teams have taken. And Seattle is going to be tough to stop for anyone.
Russell Wilson is 15 of 21, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns. And you just can't run a drive better than that. 7 plays, 60 yards, a minute 2. Use the 2 timeouts perfectly. And it's a dominant first half for the Seahawks, who have scored on 5 of their 6 possessions here today. Hauska will kick it off, and Rodgers will let it go out of the end zone. So the Falcons, if they choose to, will have a play from their own 20. More likely just to take a knee. Mike Smith, this team has played hard for him. They haven't forced any turnovers. They haven't gotten any bounces like last week when they had a Brandon LaFell fumble fall into their hands. They couldn't corral it. That game was 17-10 in the fourth quarter for Carolina, scored 17 unanswered. This is a different story today.
This is a different story. They're getting routed, but they're getting routed by one of the better teams in football. This is a team, preseason, I said Denver Broncos, Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl in New York, and I'm sticking by it.
Falcons will take a knee. The Boo Birds for the Falcons as they hit to the break. And a tremendous first half for Seattle, who, remember, deferred the coin toss and will get the ball to start the second half. An outstanding performance from Marshawn Lynch, Russell Wilson, and company. Halftime show coming up. Kurt Menefee and the fellas, all the scores next. The Seahawks with a dominating first half as we get set to kick off the third quarter, 23-3. Seattle won the toss and deferred, so it's their football. Jermaine Kearse takes it a yard and a half deep and comes on out and stops shy of the 20-yard line. But Seattle up 23-3 with their football to start it off. And man, I mean, you want to talk impressive. That is exactly what we saw from then. And John Lynch, you look at the Seahawks, they came in 8-1, and yeah, I don't. There's so many things that stand out when you watch that first half from them.
They look like a championship football team right now. They're clicking in all phases. They've got incredible depth. They've got guys that are hurt. They're going to come back, so they're going to be healthy. And Atlanta, on the other hand, you said it as we went to break. This first half was very symbolic of their season. It's been tough. They just haven't been right. They've been injured, and they've been hurt by those injuries. They haven't responded. And you know that game plan I talked about running the football?
Yeah.
You got to throw that one out the window right now. Let Matt Ryan go.
Seattle had 316 total yards of offense in the first half, and they continue with that mode with Marshawn Lynch, an 11-yard gain on first down. Chunks of yardage for Seattle, averaging nearly 9 yards a play.
Just total domination. You see the pass yards, 229 to 53. Third down is really, I think, where Atlanta failed. We talked about it early. They got in some good third down situations. They couldn't convert. You see the explosive plays. 6 for Seattle, 1 for Atlanta, who, by the way, is averaging 3.3 yards per pass play.
Go!
Give to Lynch on the read option, and he moves the pile forward to about the 34-yard line. It's a gain of 3 for Marshawn Lynch, who's up to 81 yards on the day. Reminder that you can follow your favorite NFL team all season long at itunes.com/NFL.
Pull out.
That's Mule Jean-Pierre filling in at center for the Pro Bowler Max Unger and doing a fine job today. Wilson on a second down. Going to take it and run, and nonchalantly picks up another first down for Seattle. Let's go down the field and check in with Erin Andrews.
Kevin, as I was waiting for the Falcons to come out of the locker room after halftime and speak with head coach Mike Smith, I saw linebacker Sean Weatherspoon, who has been injured since the second game of the season with a foot injury, walk out of the locker room with tears running down his face. I tried to talk to him, didn't get any response. Did talk to Falcons PR, and all they would tell me is he gave a very spirited talk to this Falcons defense. He's still kind of sniffing and wiping his eyes over here on the sidelines. He's trying to do anything he can to get this unit going, guys.
Wow, that's great stuff, Aaron. That's John, we saw him at practice. He was chomping at the bit. He was practicing. He's just not there yet, coming back. He's going to be eligible next week. He's chomping at the bit, and it's got to be killing him not to be out there helping.
He can't stand still, but he can do that. He can encourage his teammates. And you see the emotion that Sean Weatherspoon, and that's what you miss when you miss a guy like Sean Weatherspoon. The talent, the physical ability, but the emotional leadership, the experience. He's a top-flight player at his position. They have sorely missed him.
Lynch bounces off a tackle, but Babineau maintains control and takes him down. But Marshawn Lynch is always moving forward behind an offensive line that has been tremendous today. And there have been talk about Russell Wilson been taking some hits. He's taken a few today, but they got to give him a lot of credit, Sean. 3 starters have 2 Pro Bowlers, and they've been solid, more than solid.
2 position groups in the National Football League and football, really, where continuity is essential. It's the secondary and it's the offensive line. Playing with people, knowing the little things, the details of how your partner next to you plays. And they've gone without it and still managed to be successful. Give their
False start. Offense number 73. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Did we just jinx this offensive line? We're praising them, and look what happens. But you see these guys. Max Unger, all-pro last year. Okung, all-pro last year. Reno Giacomini, kind of their goon. He's the guy, the enforcer. Percy Harvin, they're explosive already. You're talking about one of the most explosive players in football. These guys are coming back. My goodness.
When you say goon, you mean that in a good way.
Yes.
Kind of the big guy, the enforcer out there. I thought you said goots, like they got from different strokes. I wasn't sure. Golden Tate has the catch on a 1st down.
You know, Pete Carroll, because prior to this game, the offensive line had been very good in the run game. They've struggled in the pass game. Russell Wilson has been hit a lot. And Pete Carroll said having Giacomini and Okung back in practice, we had a pocket, finally looked like a pocket. Unfortunately, it was for the scout team, but they'll be back, and I don't think you can have enough praise for Tom Cable, first of all, the O-line coach, and then this group that have come in there and played really good football as backups.
Lynch finds his way through the pile down to the 43. Well, Okung is a guy, Pro Bowl left tackle, out since week 2 with a toe injury. He's eligible to come back next week. He's on the IR, but the eligible to return list. That's Tom Cable, the offensive line coach. Pete Carroll raved about to us. You know, you've got Giacomini. He and Okung both practice, should be back next week. Unger had a concussion. That's why he's out. You would think he'll be all right next week, and that'll, boy, a good team only gets better.
And now they got so many offensive linemen, they're just rotating them in. J.R. Sweezy, their one opening day starter, he comes out. They send Alvin Bailey in, who's been going to left tackle. Now he goes to right guard. Interchangeable parts. And what Tom Cable said this week, we're going to have some cool depth when this is all said and done, because these guys will have had a lot of meaningful snaps.
Lynch, big hole, and breaking tackles to have another 1st down. Marshawn Lynch down to the 34-yard line and has got himself a 9-yard gain.
And you know, Seattle, it looks like they have this game in hand. A lot of football to be played. You think Marshawn Lynch is saying we've done enough today? Watch him finish this run. Contact right there, running through contact, throwing people out of the way, continuing to drive those legs. The great backs, the physical backs, they're always falling forward. Marshawn Lynch has fallen forward on every play of this game.
At 99 yards on the day, looking for his 3rd 100-yard day of the season. Wilson's got a lot of time over the middle. Tipped away, I think. I thought Umanura might have got a piece of that. And knocked it away incomplete.
Kevin, we talked to Pete Carroll about Tom Cable. He said when we came here as a staff, he was integral. He leads the charge in the run game. They wanted someone that embodied that Alex Gibbs, and he said this is the updated Alex Gibbs. And you see everywhere that Tom Cable has been. Atlanta 1st, Oakland 7th, Seattle 5th. He knows how to coach the run game. They commit to it. Pete Carroll said he leads the charge when it comes to the run game. He's got some pretty good weapons with Marshawn Lynch and the like.
Alex Gibbs spent a lot of time with the Falcons and Broncos too. Cable and his mates doing the job today, but penetration by Babineau, and Turbin had no chance. Big loss on the play, and a 3rd down coming up.
Outstanding penetration. You see Sean Witherspoon encouraging his players, and that's a great play by Babineau. Penetration kills run games. Jonathan Babineau gets it done. Sean Witherspoon saying screen and draw, 3rd and long. That's what you got to expect.
5 5 of 9 on third down of the Seahawks. They get the screen to Tate, and he's tackled just inside the 35. It's kind of borderline Stephen Hauschka area, but I think they're going to send him out to try the field goal. And this will be about a 53-yarder.
And you know, Kevin, you talked about early, very consistent inside of 50. This is a great opportunity for Pete Carroll to go get Hauschka some confidence, saying, all right, you normally kick within 50. We're going to give you a chance indoors, 53 yards. Let's go see what you can do. This could serve them well moving forward.
Season long is 51. He's only attempted one 50-plus yard field goal. Hauschka will try this one in the dome, right down the middle, distance good, and Hauschka is perfect today. 4 field goals for Stephen Hauschka, and you're right. Add that to the list. If you could extend his range a little bit more, this makes the Seahawks that much better. Stephen Hauschka, another field goal, and the Seahawks pad their lead. 26-3. Pete Carroll into it.
This game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Chevrolet, find new roads. By Applebee's, vets and active duty military enjoy a free Applebee's entree on Veterans Day. And by K Jewelers, every kiss begins with K.
There's only been one possession today that Seattle had the ball and didn't score, and they still put together a nice drive.
Kevin, all 3 phases, clicking and clicking well. This is a well-oiled machine in Seattle.
Hauschka, who's got 4 field goals today, including the 53-yarder moments ago, kicks it off. Rodgers going to try to make something happen. And instead gets tackles across the 15. Falcons looking for a little spark. Mike Smith says, let's go. Trailing 26-3. You've got Mike Smith on the left, the head coach, and then the brain trust of the Falcons. Arthur Blank, the owner, on your right. Thomas Dimitroff, the GM, in the center. And Rich McKay, the president, with the glasses on your left. And you know, I'm sure Arthur Blank is not thrilled with what's going on here. But I think when you look at what this group has done, take into consideration the body of work, Matt Ryan just trying to get something going offensively. Ooh, you heard that hit all the way up here. And now get a flag. Bruce Irvin is the guy that came on to Patrick DeMarco. Ken Norton Jr., the linebackers coach for Seattle.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, hit on a defenseless receiver. Defense number 51, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, now I've seen it all. They've called a fullback defenseless. Fullbacks spend their life as battering rams, battering players, and it's just, this is the game that the era that we're living in. As a result to all the concussion litigation and whatnot, that's what the league wants called. Whether it's a fullback, wide receiver, they're defenseless, they're going to call it. You can agree or disagree. That's the way it's gone.
Now, I understand the mandate as Jackson gets the carry for a short game, but if you're Bruce, we just showed Ken Norton Jr. is trying to teach his players how to tackle in today's NFL, right? Fullback, you know, Irvin's coming in, the fullback ducks, natural instinct, try to avoid the hit. And then there's that, what are you supposed to do as a tackler? What are you trying to teach?
And that's where the unintended consequences are going to start coming to fruition. We've already seen it. Guys are going to start going at knees. And to the players, that's the cheap shot. Going at someone's knees because that's their career in their minds.
That's Tony Gonzalez in motion. It's a 2nd down and 9 as Ryan looking his way, finds him, and Gonzalez makes the catch. Significant for Gonzalez. That's his first catch today in his 204th straight game with a reception. Chancellor on the tackle.
One thing you can count on, Tony Gonzalez will continue to play. A delay route lets everything clear so sudden. Even in his 17th year out of his breaks, and Tony Gonzalez limping off.
It's certainly not a good sign. We've already seen for Seattle, Brandon Browner go off with a groin injury today. He's out for the rest of the game, and you would think likely a couple of weeks. Now Gonzalez, and we get a flag. There's a challenge flag from the Seattle side. So Pete Carroll, I think, is going to challenge whether that was a first down or not. whether he had enough
Seattle
for a
is
first
challenging
down.
ruling on the field with a spot with regard to the first down. Timeout.
So Pete Carroll using a challenge flag. According to that, it's a good challenge.
Hey, a great challenge.
So look at that when we come back.
Slam dunk.
Tony Gonzalez went out with a toe injury, we're told. He kind of limped off after this play, which is challenged. He was a yard short of the first down mark, John.
Heads up. This usually comes from the booth. Someone with their eyes on the ball. You see that left knee down right there. See the ball right there. It's about a yard short of the spot.
After reviewing the play, the runner was down at the 42-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 1 at the 42. Seattle is not charged a timeout.
And Gonzalez's toe, I guess, is just fine. Boy, he's tough. He comes right back out. We'll never be without football. Get coverage of every NFL game on NFL Mobile. Call Star NFL to download it now. So after Carroll's challenge, 5 of 6 on challenges this year. Now 6 of 7. Carroll is pretty money on those challenges. Here's a 3rd down, John, where Atlanta's been terrible today. Just 1 of 7.
And that's really been their undoing. We talked about it earlier. In these manageable 3rd and shorts, you got to have a high conversion rate. They have not. 3rd and 1, they clearly are looking like they're going to throw. Their spread formation.
That's Steven Jackson in the backfield, but Ryan in the shotgun. 4-man rush. Ryan gets it off first down. Harry Douglas makes the catch, and the Falcons have a little drive going. Richard Sherman on the stop.
Talk about this secondary. Nice catch by Harry Douglas. Richard Sherman says, I'm not just a cover corner. I play with the Legion of Boom. Richard Sherman with the textbook tackle, going low and bringing his arms. That's good football by a great player for the Seattle Seahawks and Richard Sherman.
Jackson gets the carry, and he is smothered for a loss. Brandon Mebane bursts through the line, makes the tackle, and Jackson's going to lose 4 yards. And the run game has not been there.
Well, this is football in the trenches. Brandon Mebane, penetration again, right by Cons, into the backfield. Grab and wrap. Bring down Steven Jackson. That's how you play the nose guard position. That's one of the more underrated football players on this team. Brandon Mebane, an unsung hero of this Seattle Seahawks football team.
You see the tackles, but really tackles as a stat, defensive lineman, defensive tackle especially, it doesn't really matter. It's more what they do at the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 14, they'll dump it off to Rodgers. Gets a good block, and then Wagner stops him at midfield. We've got a game break. Check in with Joel Klatt.
Kevin, let's go up to Green Bay, where Nick Foles just continues to be productive. His 9th touchdown pass over his last 2 weeks. This one to Riley Cooper for 45 yards. They've tacked on a field goal. It's 20-3 Philadelphia over Green Bay. Kevin and John.
Bombs away with Nick Foles, huh? Who would have thunk he'd join the record books with Peyton Manning with 7 touchdowns, but he's playing at a high level right now.
Hey, Johnny, you know what? The Eagles, if they win, be 5-5. And all of a sudden, the NFC East, which everyone gave to the Dallas Cowboys, they're right there. Matt Ryan throwing to Gonzalez back from the toe injury, makes the catch, puts the football forward. He's got a first down for Atlanta. Cam Chancellor on the stop. I want to throw something crazy your way, though, in case you haven't looked at the scoreboard. The Rams are winning in Indy 38-6. What? 38-6. Kellen Clemens is having a huge day with a couple of touchdowns. Luck has 2 interceptions.
Any given Sunday.
That's incredible. It was 28-zip at the half that game. The Rams, as Rodgers comes through the line for the Falcons, and he's got a first down to the 30. Jacquizz Rodgers gains 11, and now the Falcons continuing a nice drive.
You got Jacquizz Rodgers, who stands 5'6". Earl Thomas, he goes about 5'10". There's an old saying in football, the low man wins. That's about the only guy that's lower than Earl Thomas. And Jacquizz Rodgers has given him some issues over here in the last couple of years.
Rodgers, nice little stutter step move that gets through the line. He's going to pick up about 3.
There's Earl Thomas. He's not going to slow down. He's coming at you. You got to get that head up, though, Earl. Jacquizz Rodgers bounces off, and a little talk between those guys.
Earl Thomas had a great line to Rondé Barber earlier today in Rondé's feature on the pregame. He said, you know, talking about Sherman, you know, he kind of showed me you can talk trash and back it up, too. Yeah, they've done that. Snelling in the game at tailback on a 2nd and 7. 4-man rush, but still pressure, and Ryan goes down, but a flag. It's a hit below the knees, I bet. Michael Bennett is the guy that got there.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 72. Low hit on the quarterback. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
It's not roughing the passer there, right, John? Look, hit him low. There you go.
They wanted at the knee area, and by the letter of the law, that's one. We saw one last week on Drew Brees. It was to the thigh. This seems around that knee area, and that's something that they understand in the National Football League, that their business model depends on guys like Matt Ryan. They're trying to keep them healthy. Again, something the fans even here don't like. But that must be the Seahawks fans making some noise, and there they are.
That's a rule that was put in place really when Tom Brady got hurt on the same play, a low shot to the knees, and you got to keep those quarterbacks healthy.
Where do you hit them, though?
That's on Michael Bennett. Look, that's pretty unclear right now, John. It's harder and harder. But the penalty gives Atlanta a 1st and 10 inside their own 20. Here's Ryan going end zone. Incomplete. Good coverage out there. Byron Maxwell was all over Jason Snelling. Excuse me, that was Roddy White. Thought it was 44. It's 84.
No, but the good thing for Atlanta Falcons fans is to see Roddy White back out there competing. Is he full speed? Likely not. But he's back out there on the field. That makes Matt Ryan happy, and that will help this Atlanta Falcons team down the line.
White had the one catch for 20 yards earlier in the game. Now matched up against Richard Sherman. Pocket collapsing. Ryan in trouble. Just throws off his back foot out of bounds. He gets it in the vicinity of Roddy White anyway, so no grounding. Pressure, heavy pressure from Irvin and company.
Gets it in the vicinity and gets it back to the line of scrimmage, which is the key thing. So good job by Matt Ryan with the throwaway. You see Michael Bennett. This is on the low hit to Matt Ryan. And Bennett comes around. It's like going to your mom. Mom, I didn't do it. What? Pete Carroll understands. He understands how tough it is for these guys, and it really is the predicament they're in. You can't hit them high. You can't hit them low. And folks at home, you see the frustration. These are moving targets. They're not stationary targets. They're moving targets. We're asking a lot of these players. And
Falcons want to get back in it. They need this 3rd and 10. Ryan again under duress. Pressure coming, just throws it away. Cliff Averill coming, and this pass rush for the Seahawks comes alive as the Falcons get in the red zone. Penalty, far side of the field though, so hang on.
Offside. Defense number 91. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
That's on Chris Clemens.
There was no intentional grounding as the quarterback was out of the pocket and the ball got beyond the line of scrimmage.
it's Chris Clemens. He thinks he gets a good jump. They say not so fast. You're off sides. But the one thing that's clear, Seattle's got pass rushers coming out of their ears. Averill, Bennett, Chris Clemens. They just keep coming at you with defensive linemen. Those guys are backups I'm talking about, other than Chris Clemens.
So now 3rd and 5 of the 5-yard penalty. Gonzalez in motion. That's Jackson in the backfield. Ryan going to throw. They set up a middle screen. Jackson trying to get forward, but he couldn't do it. Oh, Seattle played it well. And now a 4th down.
It's a fantastic play by Cliff Averill. He's right here. Keep his eyes on the luggage. He sees Steven Jackson. That doesn't look right. He says, go get him. Cliff Averill all over it. Not just rushing the passer, but that's smart football.
And Atlanta's got to go, trailing 26-3 with 1:20 to go in the third quarter. They're 2 of 7 on fourth down this year. Got to get to the 9. Ryan over the middle, touchdown! Darius Johnson scores it, his first NFL touchdown.
Got to win the one-on-one. Seattle will give them to you. Who do they go after? The guy who replaced Brandon Browner. Their starter, Byron Maxwell, gets his hand on it. But that you just can't throw a football any better. That looks like the Matt Ryan we've all accustomed to.
And so the first NFL score for the rookie from SMU, and the Falcons trying to get back in this game. It's 26-10 Seahawks. 1:02 to go, third quarter. Atlanta took advantage of a couple penalties on Seattle, but put together the best drive of the day by far. They go 13 plays, 82 yards, and John, it's a 2-score game with 1:02 to go in the third quarter. Curse will go out of the back of the end zone, and now Seattle will take over on their own 20 with Marshawn Lynch. He's got 99 yards on the day, looking for that 100-yard game. Lynch and the Seahawks, their ball coming up. Russell Wilson and his Seahawks up 26-10 on the Falcons. 1:02 to go, third quarter. You see Marshawn Lynch a yard shy of 100. So it's a 2-score game for the Falcons who have a little life. Problem is they've only stopped Seattle on one of their drives from scoring. Wilson in trouble, eludes with a stiff arm, and turns a sack into a short game. Well, in case you missed it, tune in to Fox Sports Live for more from our exclusive interview. Jake Glazer sits down with Richie Incognito. What does he have to say about former teammate Jonathan Martin? It's a good interview. I watched it earlier. Of course, also tonight, Jay and Dan, all the scores and highlights, NFL, NBA, NHL. That's tonight, 11 o'clock Eastern, Fox Sports 1, and to find Fox Sports 1, go to foxsports1.com now to see what channel it is. Of course, you can probably turn on the channel guide and find it too if you're risky and adventurous. 2nd and 8 for Seattle. Blitz coming from Deku, but it's Lynch bouncing off a tackle. Nice job. Seattle hung on. It was Worlow to prevent any bigger of a gain, and now a third down coming.
Worlow continues to flash all over the field. North of 10 tackles here today, 19 last week. He's trying to keep his job.
Worlow's got 12 tackles today, John. Right now, he's got to stop Russell Wilson and this Seattle offense. 3 quarters in the books from Atlanta. Seahawks 26, Falcons 10. Back from the Georgia Dome next.
You think you have Russell Wilson contained? Not so fast. There's that stiff arm on a 320-pound under tackle. The speed, the strength. Russell Wilson, the total package in Seattle.
I mean, it's a short run, but he changed the play. You go from a loss on the play and you pick up yardage. We start the fourth quarter. Seahawks up 26-10. And a third down here. Blitz coming. He lets it fly for Baldwin. He's got the catch. Flag from the secondary. Baldwin's got it up at midfield. It'll be about a 26-yard hookup if it counts.
Holding. Defense number 23. Penalties decline. Result of the play. First down.
Watch the protection. Here comes the blitz. Remember, these are backups playing, but they aren't playing like backups. The protection, Russell Wilson knows he's got more than they can protect Doug Baldwin with an incredible route. And Russell Wilson, as he's been all day, all season, on the money. What a throw, what execution by this Seattle offense.
I'll give you a stat that's going to give you a stat that's going to blow you away after Lynch carries his football to the left side.
He goes carrying the pile again.
It's incredible. Now, how about this, John? That last play to Baldwin. It's the 7th play of 20 yards or more for Seattle today. And the Falcons don't have a single receiver over 20 yards today. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen that in a game. Not one receiver over 20 yards receiving.
Unbelievable. These young receivers, I keep harping on it. Sidney Rice goes out. He's supposed to be their big play guy. Baldwin, Tate, Curse. These guys are stepping up. And here comes Percy Harvin in a couple weeks. Watch out.
There's Curse looking in. He's had himself a good game. Marshawn Lynch with his third 100-yard game of the year. Fighting forward. He's going to pick up about 4. The Seahawks team looking to go to 9-1 on the year. And Russell Wilson is the guy that puts it all together. 18 of 25, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns. John, every day he gets to the Seattle headquarters at a ridiculous hour, stays all night. He's here 3 hours before the game, throwing footballs 30 times, envisioning touchdowns. You can't do it much better than he's done it a year and a half into the league.
He's a grinder. He's got the qualities that the great ones do. That's how Peyton Manning works. That's how Drew Brees works. This young man has come in. He works. He's the grinder. He outworks people, and he's obviously got tremendous talent.
Marshawn Lynch, another first down, and it keeps the chains moving and the clock ticking. So after the Falcons got a little life, Seattle just running the ball down their throats. Lynch with 131 rushing yards. As we look, at the job that Wilson has done. John, this is a guy that was drafted by the Colorado Rockies to play baseball, 4th round 2010, and he said that baseball has really helped him in a lot of ways playing football.
So being a middle infielder, double plays, going in the hole, getting his shoulders square, knowing how the ball flight works. These are all things that he's transferred over. Talked about playing point guard in high school and how that's helped him as a quarterback. But he's not lying. Here's the footage. Russell Wilson, single-A ball. What's the name of the team?
The Asheville Tourists, the single-A team for the Colorado Rockies. Now the question is, could he hit a curveball? That's the question.
A true story. I sat with the lead scout for the New York Yankees. I'll leave his name, but I said, what about Russell Wilson? He's couldn't hit the curve. Well, you know what? You know who's the beneficiary of that? The Seattle Seahawks.
He can hit a 50-yard fade route, I'll tell you that. That's all that matters right now. 2nd and 6. And it's Lynch again to the left side. Warlow, good tackle from behind. Close to a first down, I think a little bit short. Kurt Menefee has the game break.
All right, Philadelphia's Nick Foles continues his hot ways, I should say. Looking up with Riley Cooper, 32-yard touchdown. 3rd TD pass of the day for Foles. That's 16 touchdowns, 0 interceptions on the season. His team's cruising in Green Bay. Kevin, John, and Eric.
Nick Foles got 11 touchdowns in 2 games.
Kind of excited. We got the Eagles next week.
We got the Eagles Redskins next week. The irony there, as you look at Lynch's monster day, is that Philly wins on the road. They haven't won at home in 2 years. Another big drive by the Seahawks. Robert Turbin is the back on a 3rd and short. They pitch it to Turbin, and Turbin takes a good lick. I think he's going to have enough for a first down. We'll see.
One thing that never ceases to amaze me is the impact that great players. Now Turbin, the backup to Marshawn Lynch, he came in kind of known as a speed guy, but he's watched Marshawn Lynch. He's been around Marshawn Lynch. What's he become now? A hammer who falls forward all the time. You tend to emulate people that are successful. You watch their style. I promise you that's what Turbin's been doing. What makes Marshawn Lynch so great? That's why it's so outstanding to have great players. Not only are they great, they make everybody else great.
Look at the total yards, 438 for Seattle. And they call a timeout here. And that's astounding. 438 to 146 in total yards. And Pete Carroll's Seahawks looking to go to 9-1. Oh, yeah, he's fired up. Tom Cable's pretty excited, too.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Domino's. Oh, yes, we did. By Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. And by PlayStation. Greatness awaits in stores November 15.
Well, the kids having fun here at the Georgia Dome today. So a bunch of them dancing at the break and the music. Falcons defense not having fun. The Seattle offense has rolled to 438 total yards of offense. Now has a 1st and goal. Marshawn Lynch up the gut, and he's going to bring it inside the 3. How about this? You know, in this half, just shows you not only Seattle winning, dominating, but milking the clock. Falcons have had 1 possession, second half, 1. Now they scored on it, but that's it, 1.
This team, I sound giddy about the Seattle Seahawks, but if you enjoy football and good football, you can't help but be. They're doing everything right, clicking on all cylinders. They're doing it tough. They're explosive. They're everything you want to be as a football team.
Lynch on a 2nd and goal. Danson looking for something in the middle, still forcing his way forward. He's close, but he's going to be just a little shy. It'll be a 3rd and goal from inches away, as we are 9:24 and counting left in this football game, and Seattle getting yards and burning time. That's 406 seconds that Seattle has used, which means they're not only gaining yards, but they're milking that play clock pretty good too.
And right when Matt Ryan was starting to feel it a little bit.
Third and goal. Lynch walks in. Touchdown, Seattle. $145 yards for Marshawn Lynch today.
Watch Thomas Deku right there. You got to set the edge. You got to turn that ball back. All your help's inside. Michael Robinson with a nice inside hold. Thomas Deku makes it easy on Marshawn Lynch and the Seattle Seahawks.
Lynch is 8 yards away from a career high. He's got 145. Seahawks looking like a championship team today in the 12th man. Boogie, young man. Been a good day for us, Pop. 33-10. Seattle looking to go to 9-1. 8:48 to go from Atlanta. Here's Rodgers taking it out, and Curse puts a good stick on him, and the Falcons take over at about their own 18-yard line.
Well, Kevin, we just saw that picture of that young man with his father at a football game. Well, our associate director, Joe Williams, and his wife, Kelly, became first-time parents. November 1st, the birth of their daughter, Taylor. Mom and Taylor are doing great at home, and Joe Williams, congratulations. The best title you'll ever have is Dad.
And Joe is such an integral part of our broadcast every week. Good to have him back, and he even slept a little bit last night, so that's a first. Welcome to the land of coffee, Joe.
Get it while you can.
1st and 10 Falcons. As Ryan back to throw. Pressure comes up the middle. Here comes Averill chasing after him, and down he goes. That's a horse collar tackle. That's going to be on Seattle.
Personal foul. Horse collar tackle. Defense number 56. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic 1st down.
There's Cliff Averill working against the right tackle. He comes inside. Great pursuit. This is a rule that's a good rule, frankly, because people were getting hurt with it when they pull that jersey down. When you grab that jersey, make an abrupt pull down. And the Seattle bench says not again. So maybe there's something to work on in Seattle, those 15-yard penalties.
We've had a few of those today. 7 penalties, 65 yards for the Seahawks.
Wait. Express. Let him go.
Ryan, pressure over the middle, finds Douglas. Short of a 1st down. He's up to 35 on the pickup You know, this Falcons team, when you look at where they are right now, a team that was 10 yards shy of a Super Bowl last year, Mike Smith, all he's done is win here, John. I mean, that's all he's done. Every year that Mike Smith has been here, they've had a winning record. Franchise leader in wins. I mean, the guy's done a great job, and I don't think you could overlook that because they've had one tough year and filled with injuries and a bunch of other stuff. Ryan back to throw it. Pressure again. I mean, he's gotten pressure all day long. Getting rid of it, but he's taking some hits.
Kevin, there's no doubt about it. Mike Smith can flat out coach some football. They've got a new stadium coming here to Atlanta. You know who they should thank? Mike Smith, yeah. Thomas Dimitroff, Matt Ryan. They've got a successful formula. They've hit a little speed bump here. They had some rebuilding to do. This year it's one off season. You retool a little bit and you come back a swinging, and this is a team that's going to be successful. The ownership on down, these are good people. They're good at what they do, and they will be back.
It happens in the NFL. You know, injuries and play from some of the guys hasn't been the same as last year. Ryan in all kinds of trouble, and Bennett gets the sack, and a flag again, this time from the secondary, so hold on. Seattle has their arms raised. This one might be on them again. Indications are yes.
Holding. Defense number 31. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Cam Chancellor. And he's working on Tony Gonzalez.
You know, the only way you take Tony Gonzalez out of a play is you hold him. Tony Gonzalez, he's a wily vet, does a great job of selling it to that back judge, and he says, about time. I was talking to Tony before the game, and he said, John, these guys are raping me. They're holding me all over the field. And he's going to go work that back judge before the game. Good work, Tony. Paid off.
Snelling. Good carry for Wagner. Lays a hit on him up at the 48-yard line. One more thought on Mike Smith. Here's all you need to know about what he's done here. This is his 6th year. There's only one team that has more wins in that time, the Patriots. That's it, in the entire NFL. No one's had more wins. Not the Colts, not the Packers, not the Broncos. So that tells you all you need to know about what he's done. Ryan back to throw. Douglas again, but immediately tackled by Thurman. Well, for the Seattle team, boy, they've looked good today. Certainly, even though they're deep, there is going to be some concern with the injury to Brandon Browner, the terrific cornerback who went out early with a groin injury. And by the way he looked, you'd think that's going to keep him out a few weeks. Thurman's done a nice job filling in today. 3rd and 2.
Hey, Rip 50, Rip 50. Express. Let him go.
Douglas has the first down and then some. Harry Douglas fumbled the football and Thurman picks it up. Even when something good happens for the Falcons, it turns into a disaster, and Seattle has the football.
But you know what that is? That's not just a turnover. They created that turnover. Walter Thurman, with tremendous hustle, he comes and tomahawks that football, gets his left hand on it, comes back with the right, and then goes and recovers it. Seattle Seahawks, they preach it. It's all about the ball, and they live it.
2nd in the league at forcing.
Game is sponsored by Pizza Hut. Prep for game day by ordering online from Pizza Hut. Make it great.
Good horse collared by my... Whoop.
Here's Seattle. After the turnover, the fumble, and the recovery by Thurman. Give it to Michael on his first carry of the day. Here's the turnover. Harry Douglas had 39 yards, but then Thurman gets the turnover. Terry Robisky talking as a receiver. All right, so when you have a question how to force turnovers, why not ask the 9-time Pro Bowl safety John Lynch? How do you do it? What are you taught here? If I'm running with this football,
you saw Terry Robisky probably talking about the 5 points of pressure. We'll watch this play and we'll come back.
Wilson hits Golden Tate. Nice move by Tate, throwing runners out of the way. He's got a first down. All right, so
but you saw Harry Douglas. Earl Thomas comes. He tries to go the arm over. What that does, one of the 5 points of pressure eliminated real easy now for Walter Thurman to come in there. Boom, 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 boom.
Punch in the gut. What's going on
That's
here?
the ball. It's all about the ball in Seattle. You got to hold on to that. There's the 2 points of pressure at least there by our Dolphin. I don't know where that is, but Walter Thurman getting after the football. That's what the Seattle Seahawks do well. The Atlanta Aquarium, of course.
I mean, I come to do a broadcast, I get punched in the gut by Hall of Fame safety. What in the world's happening? Here's Seattle trying to run out the clock with 4:44 to go. And they're going to give it again to Michael, getting his shot and making a nice run. And even the third string running back getting into it. Kristen Michael, the rookie from Texas A&M.
Well, Pete Carroll and John Schneider, you talk about a loaded roster. They got players. I mean, this is the third running back. There's John Schneider, and what a tremendous job he's done. Now, one of the benefits he has, and he told me this before the game today, these guys drafted Matt Ryan in the first round with the old CBA. The new CBA, a lot different deal. The rookie cap. Russell Wilson's making $615,000, folks. That allows money to go get Cliff Averill, to trade for Percy Harvin and pay him, to go get Michael Bennett. This team is loaded for bear.
Michael again running hard, trying to stay in bounds, but he goes out. You know, and think about Russell Wilson, what he's done. He is the lowest paid quarterback in the league.
$619,000. I was off by $4,000 guaranteed. But I tell you what, Pete Carroll, John Schneider, you're stealing, because that man is underpaid. That's a lot of money. But for quarterbacks, Peyton Manning, $20 million. Matt Ryan, 15 plus. The great ones make a lot of money, and Russell Wilson will have his day. I promise you that.
I mean, the average is about $10 million for the NFL starting quarterback. And then you talked about the moves. I mean, they got two pass rushing guys in Averill and Bennett for a combined $20 million, which also doesn't happen every year. And Michael just running out the clock on a second down, picks up a yard. His time ticking away, 3:46 to go. From the Georgia Dome, Marshawn Lynch had himself a day. 24 carries, 145 yards, and a touchdown. Really everything went right for Seattle today, John. They've got 478 total yards. That's a good embrace by a couple of guys who have turned a franchise around. It's Michael, and he's got a first down. So Seattle will keep it and continue to move the chains. Meanwhile, if you're Atlanta, you're going to fall to 2-7, and that's not what they envisioned when they signed Steven Jackson to be the missing piece in the offseason.
I know, and I don't think you see Warlow there. I don't think they imagined starting two rookie undrafted free agents at linebacker. Now those guys have turned in to be decent players, but they've been decimated with injuries. But again, that man wants to win. He gives them the resources to win. He knows he's got guys like Sean Witherspoon, and their day will come. They just have to stay the course. They've got a successful model. Stick with it.
That was a cool picture, because I was talking to Arthur Blank on the field before the game, and he was talking about the impact of not having Sean Witherspoon out there, you know, for the stuff that he brings off the field. And had Aaron's report earlier about the impassioned speech he gave, but Falcons are going to come up short today because they're facing a juggernaut in the Seahawks. 2-minute warning in Atlanta. State Farm postgame show is coming up next. And there was a timeout on the field. Not the 2-minute warning just yet. Jumping the gun a little bit there. The Seattle on a 2nd and 7. And a good run again. Good cuts by Morton, the rookie from A&M, still on his feet. And we get a flag back around the line of scrimmage. So hang on. Probably coming back on Seattle. Lockett, the wideout, maybe the culprit. Was a 25-yard run.
You see Ricardo Lockett. We talked about bad tackling in the NFL. Well, here's a great tackle. The problem is he's the blocker. You got to block him, not hold him.
Offense number 83. 10-yard penalty. Speed second down.
I think one thing's clear, though. They got a pretty good third-string running back, Christine Michael. You see Mike Smith, first time in his era here as the Atlanta Falcons head coach that he's lost 3 at home. They've been a dominant team at home. One thing I want to say at the end of this broadcast, one of Mike Smith's great friends in this business is John Fox. I had the opportunity yesterday to talk to my good friend John Fox, who's recovering from open heart surgery. He said he'd be watching this game. He's never got to see me do a broadcast, so he's going to be watching. So, Foxy, if you're still tuning in, get well, buddy. Get yourself well. Get back. And we love you. We miss you, buddy.
It's good to hear that he was in good spirits talking to you, John. And certainly wish John Fox to get well soon. As he's watched the Seahawks put forth a pretty dominating performance today. This is Turbin getting the carry on second down. And that should take us to the 2-minute warning, where Seattle's got a bunch of smiles today. They have played some good football on the way to going 9-1. 2 minutes to go from the Georgia Dome. The 12th man has traveled here to Atlanta. A bunch of Seahawk fans made the trip, and they are ecstatic as the Seahawks looking to go to 9-1. 2 minutes to go. 3rd down and 5. Michael stiff arm, but taking down Paul Worlow. Boy, he has had some 2 games. The rookie from Delaware at linebacker has really played well. Nice tackle.
At first, they were selling this guy almost like it was a cute story, like he was Rudy or something. This is no Rudy. This is one heck of a football player that looks like he's going to have himself a career in this league. Sean Weatherspoon will be coming back, but I guarantee you with his play, they will not be taking Paul Worlow off the field.
Fox tomorrow, the Horseman returns, brings the fight to America's favorite new drama, Sleepy Hollow. Critics rave, hands down the craziest show on TV. Pete Macheska and Artie Kempner agree. Don't lose your head over an all-new episode tomorrow at 9/8 Central on Fox. So Paul Worlow had 19 tackles last week. He's got 19 tackles today. I mean, I think when you get almost 40 tackles in 2 NFL games, it's pretty good.
That doesn't happen too often.
Seattle will punt. It's only the 2nd punt today from them. Robert McClain lets the ball sail over his head. And so Atlanta with 1:46 to go. One timeout left, down 23. And now you have to seriously start thinking about home field advantage. And let's be real, John, I don't know that home field advantage in the NFL overall means all that much anymore, because we've seen too many teams lose in the playoffs. But for this team, it's enormous.
Right there it does. You've been to Seattle, that 12th man, that's for real. That is loud. They don't lose at home. Russell Wilson, has he lost at home? No, he hadn't lost at home. So they're fighting for that home field advantage, and they're playing like a team that's going to earn that.
1:46 to go. Pressure again on Ryan. Sidesteps it. He's going to dump it off to Rodgers, who shakes his way out to the 29. You want to talk about a crazy day in the NFL so far? The Rams over the Colts 38-8, dominating Indianapolis, who's been great this year. And the Jacksonville Jaguars looking to get their first win for Gus Bradley, the former defensive coordinator for Seattle. 29-20 at Tennessee. And think about the significance with the Colts losing. The Titans could have been a game back. They're blowing a golden opportunity today. The Jaguars look like they're going to get a win.
Gus Bradley's a good football coach. It's hard to see in the midst of this season, but that team's getting better. He'll have success in this league as a head coach. He is a good football man. Just ask Pete Carroll.
You know, in the NFC East, while none of their teams appeared on that best teams in the league graphic, Giants won their 3rd in a row today. The Eagles now, if they can hold on, there's still 8.5 minutes left at Green Bay, but they're up 2 touchdowns. They would be 5-5, and all of a sudden the NFC East, at the very least, it's tight. Cowboys a 5-4 lead right now, but they play the Saints tonight. We'll be in Philadelphia next week, Tom. Ryan now on 1st and 10. Get it to Rodgers. He drops the ball. So how does Seattle season look coming up? Minnesota, and then they get a bye. And you would think by the time that bye is over, they'll have all their parts. It's scary to think of all the parts that aren't playing today, including Percy Harvin, who hasn't played yet. And then the 2 money games, Saints and Niners. If they get through those, all right, they're going to be the home field.
It's a good time to have a bye, because those would be 2 physical, hard-fought games against the Saints and the 49ers.
Ryan has it knocked away. Drew Davis, the intended receiver, was knocked down by Byron Maxwell. By the way, those of you tuned in watching this one, we will take you to the conclusion of Philadelphia and Green Bay. There's 7.5 minutes to go from Lambeau now. And we'll take you to the conclusion of that one. Eagles winning. No Aaron Rodgers today for the first time, and it showed. The Packers have just 13 points. .105 to go. No timeouts left for the Falcons. Ryan picks up the drop and throws over the middle. Has it complete to Tony Gonzalez, and that'll be a first down as we're under a minute.
It's one thing I always have respected against Tony Gonzalez. His team's up, his team's behind. He will fight to the end. He's a great competitor, has been. We say it every time we do a broadcast. Surefire Hall of Famer. They got to create a different kind of Hall of Fame for guys like that.
Harry Douglas makes the grab. Pick up 3 yards as Falcons try to run at least one more play. Dump it to Snelling over the middle, and Snelling going to be close to first down with 15 seconds to go.
I think Seattle made a statement today that they mean business.
2 seconds. They'll get off one last play. Ryan's just going to throw it over the middle. Incomplete. And this one's over from Atlanta. The Seahawks dominate the Atlanta Falcons 33-10. The final score in Seattle is 9-1. We'll be back to wrap it up from Atlanta after this on Fox.